In the last video, we learned about centering and how to cone down and cone up in 3 different ways. Now in this video series, I'm going to move on to what to do after you got it centered, and that's digging your well, opening it up, and then pulling your walls up. Now, centering is the hardest part about learning to throw, but there's nothing more frustrating than having a perfectly centered piece and then getting it thrown off center as you dig your well, open, and pull. So the techniques that I'm going to show you is the ones that I've learned over my many years of teaching that work the best for beginners and even help more seasoned potters kind of relearn the foundations and to get a different approach to an issue that may be causing them to get pieces off center. So let's dive right in and let's dig our well. So the way I initially learned how to dig my well from my ceramics teacher was with my thumbs. You put one thumb on top of the other, whichever thumb is on top applies a downwards pressure. I still teach that exact same way. The only difference is instead of having them straight up and down, I angle my fingers sideways and I dig down using the sides of my fingers so it opens wider and deep at the same time. Now, digging straight down with your thumbs is still a really good and efficient method, but it gets a little more narrower. So for example, if I dig straight down, I create a well that looks like a deep V. If I dig with my thumb sideways, it opens it up to more of a U. So it's a little wider, and opening my well for the next step becomes a little easier. So in this clip you're about to see, you'll see how digging with your thumbs on top of each other works, but it creates a narrow well. Okay. So if we were to dig straight down like this and just use our thumbs without turning it sideways, you get a very deep and narrow well. That's why I like going sideways like this to dig. Now, with digging with your thumb sideways, I still start the initial dig with my thumbs on each other and I dig down to create a pilot hole. Once it creates a little divot, then I turn my finger sideways and then I continue digging. So when you do this, you want to make sure you find the center, and I like to kind of push it down just a tad bit with a pointer finger. So I don't want this to move left to right, because if you dig your well uncentered, your whole piece becomes uncentered, and it's really hard to fix it once it is thrown off. It's possible, but it does take a little practice. So to do this, I get my hands wet, put it on the clay, and I like resting my hands on the bat when I do this. Hands are wrapped around the clay, but not dry, because I want the clay to rotate smoothly in my fingers. Put my thumbs on top of each other. Whichever thumb is on top applies a downwards pressure. In this case, my left thumb's on top, right thumb's on the bottom, and my left thumb will apply the downwards pressure. And just a little bit down, I created my pilot hole. You can see it's not shiny because my fingers took away the slip. So I'm going to add a little extra slip from the board in the clay, and I'm going to keep digging. And as I dig deeper, you can see that my thumbs are turning sideways, and that's what I want, because I want to dig this deeper and wider at the same time. So now it's getting deeper and wider, and I'm keep adding slip or water, whatever you're more comfortable with. If you want to add water, just add a little bit. So this is adding water to your well, and then you just keep digging with your thumbs sideways, little bits at a time, and there is no rush. You want to make sure your thumbs stay centered, and you don't want your thumbs moving side to side. If they start moving side to side, that means your piece is thrown off centered, and you're going to have to recenter by really compressing down the clay, which I will cover in another video. So you keep digging, and the ideal depth when you dig your clay. If you're planning to trim a foot, which most people usually do after the clay dries out, you want at least ½ inch of clay. So how do you know how deep your depth is? And it's a really easy way to figure it out. You just grab your needle tool, you stick it directly down into the center until it touches the bat, and then when you grab it, I like grabbing it with either my left or right, doesn't matter. You take your thumb, connect it to your middle finger to create this little tube, and your pointer finger is still sticking out, so it looks something like this. Then you turn, I'm left-handed, so you turn your hand with your pointer finger facing down, hand wraps around the needle, pointer finger touches the clay where the base is against the needle, and you pull it out. And the distance from the tip of the needle to the tip of your finger is how deep the clay is. So in this case, it's a little more than half an inch, so I want to go a little deeper. So spin the wheel, add some water, and continue to dig. Just a little more, so getting my depth now. Okay, so that should be half an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and check for depth one more time. So same way, push it down until it touches the bat. Right hand this time, middle finger touches thumb, wrap my fingers around so it creates a tube, needle goes into that tube, finger up against the side of the needle, touches the bottom of the clay, pull it out, tip of the needle to the tip of my finger is the depth. So you can see we have about half an inch. That's perfect. So that's digging the well. Whether that's your thumb on top of each other digging straight down, or a little sideways to begin to make it wider and deeper, either or they work. And that's to dig. Now there are many ways to dig, but that's the way I prefer. I hope part 1 of this 3-part series was able to help you dig your well and keep it centered. In part 2, we'll cover a beginner-friendly way on how to open your well and pull your wells up.
And like this, like and subscribe for more videos coming soon. Thank you.